Okay. That's weird to view. That's way up there. Like stone. God. It's kind of weird. Taking these stands. I don't really care. Wait.
Whole Foods also raised the price of the bananas 4 cents to $29.99. Wait a second. Pretty funny. So the Trader Joe's banana is a thing, Michael? I didn't know that.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
I got a Trader Joe's just down the street from me, and I'm almost never in there because I don't have the kind of food I like, which is highly processed, bad-for-you crap.
You can purchase a banana in every grocery store in America. What is it about Trader Joe's? Just the price or what?
Yeah,
I don't
just
get
the
it.
price. It's like the Costco hot dog. They've kept it that price for 20 years.
They were hanging on to an item that was ridiculously cheap, like the Costco hot dog, and it's just kind of a, a branding thing. But they couldn't hold on to it any longer. Whole Foods is $30 for a banana.
Is there any food available on planet Earth that combines deliciousness with satisfying your hunger and inexpensiveness better than the banana? Is there anything available that surpasses a humble banana?
How nutritious is a banana, though? I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I mean, it's not a whole bunch of sugar in it and fat and all that sort of stuff that I don't want. But, is there much nutrition in a banana?
There's some.
Don't drop the P word on me.
Potassium, Jack. You need to take in your potassium.
So I was reading more about this sleep study, speaking of health, and how you actually feel older when you don't get enough sleep by quite a few years. And they did a big study of people between the ages of 18 and 70, actually, breaking it down by different age groups, asking you how old they felt after 2 days with 9 hours of sleep. God, 2 days of 9 hours of sleep. I haven't had 2 days of 9 hours of sleep in a row. Maybe 40 years. Can't even imagine. And compared with 2 days with only 4 hours of sleep per night. Now, I've done that 100 times in the last how many years. But you feel multiple years older, as opposed to the people who felt 3 months younger after a good night's sleep. I don't have a dial that's that accurate. I definitely feel multiple years older after I don't get enough sleep. I couldn't tell you I feel 3 months younger when I get a good night's sleep, though. My calibration isn't that perfect. I feel like I did back in December.
Yeah, that's
What the hell is
kind of
that?
nutty, doesn't it? Yeah.
The hell is that? I feel 3 months younger.
I haven't felt this good since last October.
But what? How do you do? I do. You don't actually know what you're going to feel like in 5 years. So the idea that we have a perception of I feel 5 years older is kind of interesting.
This sounds like the sort of quibbling I would do, but you made an excellent point there. How do you know?
I don't
I feel like I'm 80.
You don't know that. Nobody knows.
Right.
But that's the first thing I thought yesterday after several days in a row of not getting enough sleep as I was coming into work, walking from the car. I thought, geez, I feel like I'm 75 years old. And I don't actually even know what that means. But I wonder if we intuitively kind of do. I don't know.
Wow, another interesting idea. You're on a roll. Now, you're going to think I'm kidding you. I have some fascinating information on the nutritional value of bananas.
Okay, at my fingertips. test.
Now, mildly interesting is the nutritional, the values, like any label that carbs and sugar and that sort of thing. It's a fair amount of carbs, 12 plus grams of sugar. It's all natural sugar, obviously. Some fiber, and yeah, some good potassium in there and that sort of thing. But here's the part that I found really, really interesting. The main component of unripe bananas is starch. Green bananas contain up to 80% starch measured in dry weight. During ripening, the starch is converted into sugars and ends up being less than 1% when the banana is fully ripe.
Which one?
Its sugar content changes as it ripens.
I don't worry about fruit sugar. If you do, go ahead. I don't believe that at all. But, when is it the most healthy? Do I want more starch?
Sure you do, Jack. No, I don't know. I don't honestly know. Got a lot of vitamin B6 in there, which is one of your better vitamins.
Even if you told me I'm going to eat my banana when it's there. I mean, I don't have the ability to have the perfectly ripe banana at my hand at all times.
Oh, but when you do, you got life licked.
My son likes them when they're green. He likes to pick the really green ones and loves that flavor. I hate that flavor. It's like my least favorite flavor.
Armstrong and Getty.
My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GA-won't-wait.
Talk Radio 560 KSFO San Francisco, KSAN HD2 San Mateo, a Cumulus media station.
Big ripple effects. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The bridge collapse in Baltimore will have wide-ranging impacts on the U.S. supply chain, both shipping and truck traffic, as well as local businesses. For now, though, the focus remains on a search and recovery operation while federal investigators begin their work.
Whatever happened aboard the cargo ship Dolly to cause it to ram the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore is something experts will need to figure out, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg tells Fox News.
If the investigation determines that any private party or parties are responsible, they will be held accountable.
6 missing construction workers are now feared dead. Meanwhile, Maryland Governor Wes Moore says the nation will likely feel economic impacts as the wrecked bridge is blocking seaport traffic.
We're talking about a port that's responsible for over 51 million tons of foreign cargo. That's the largest in the country.
Eben Brown, Fox News.
The governor has said the cargo ship lost power and issued a mayday call just before impact. Israel's prime minister meeting with visiting U.S. senators and explaining his decision not to send senior leaders to Washington to discuss future military plans in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott in Jerusalem that the U.S. decision to abstain from the UN Security Council vote was a bad move. The resolution called for an immediate ceasefire during Ramadan, as well as the release of the hostages, but did not condemn Hamas. Netanyahu told Scott why the vote prompted him to renege on plans to send a delegation of Israeli officials to the White House to discuss plans to go after Hamas in Rafah.
It was a message first and foremost to Hamas. Don't bet on this pressure. It's not going to work. And I'll say optimism.
Tuesday, the president was asked what he made of Israel's decision not to send a delegation. He said he did not want to get into it, that there was plenty of time to talk about it. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham says destruction of Hamas battalions in Rafah is non-negotiable. America is listening to Fox News.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life. I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself. Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor.
a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And feel the difference of Relief Factor.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, place of worship, or other chosen groups. Communities can provide support when you need it, including helping your kids avoid underage drinking and other substance use. Learn more at talktheyhearyou.samhsa.gov.
We've learned anything from the headlines is that unexpected things happen too often. Those in charge say everything's fine. Stop noticing. But you know better. Your gut knows that time is short to prepare for what's around the corner next. My Patriot Supply has helped over 2 million families become more self-reliant and is the company Americans trust to prepare. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least 1 food kit for each family member. For a limited time, save $200 plus get free shipping on all their Ready Hour 3-month emergency food kits. You're not ready if it's not Ready Hour foods. At My Patriot Supply, you can also get solar-powered generators, water filtration units, emergency medical supplies, and heirloom seeds. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com today. MyPatriotSupply.com.
KSFO traffic from the Chilton Auto Body Desk.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment. Summit Racing is the parts you need to keep your truck rolling right. From custom grills to tonneau covers and everything in between. Shop SummitRacing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends April 14th, 2024.
Look out in Mountain View. We still this crash southbound 85 before Central Expressway. 2 cars tying up the middle of the roadway there. Heavy and slow from Lawson Boulevard. Fremont, it's a fender bender southbound 880 just past Stevenson. It's off to the right side. Bay Bridge, heavy and slow from the 880 overcrossing. Slow from the island to 101. That's traffic. I'm Elaine Leung.
That's my son Jared. At the height of his fame, we lost him to an accidental drug overdose. I'm Carmela Wallace. I started Live Free 999 so that we never lose another Jared.
Visit live399.org to learn.
Each week, On the Ground with Samaritans First brings you news stories of how God is working through the ministry. Whether it's hours after the deadly earthquake that rocked Turkey, providing eyesight to the blind, or life-changing impact of an Operation Complete Child Shoot-Off. Join us on Saturday mornings on KSFO at 8 a.m. or go to SamaritansFirst.org/listen.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
We all have our little niches, right? Everybody's got their thing. Matt Walsh does cultural commentary, does it really well. John Batchelor does a lot of foreign policy. Remember John? He's a big foreign policy guy. Levin does a lot of the legal stuff. He practically is one of the founders of the Tea Party himself. One of the things I hope I add to your life is some inside perspective of what it's like to work in a White House, because I had the had a great job. I had the honor of working for two separate presidents, even though I totally completely disagreed with one of them, so much so I actually left the job. But still, we're not a third world republic. We keep our presidents alive. And I've got a pretty decent body of experience about what it looks like to show up every morning at the White House. I'm not going to give you the time because of give up any security secrets, but you get there really early when you're on the day shift and you're a young agent, working at the White House. Too many older guys on the presidential shift outside the supervisors because it's hard. You have to work. It's really terrible. You go from days, evenings to midnights, you just rotate around. No boo-hoo, but it's the way it is. But when you get there in the morning, one of the first things they do is they used to give you what's called a mini. I don't know if that's done electronically now, but what they would do is they would take the president's schedule, and usually because it was, and by usually I mean almost every day, because it was quite lengthy, they would slap a regular piece of paper on a photocopy machine, and they would shrink it to about 55%. I forget what the number was. And if you were responsible for the minis, you would do it. And why would we make minis? Well, we would make minis because you didn't want a big piece of paper stuffed in your pocket and have to pull it out in front of the president every time. Like, where's he going? And you got this big piece of paper, like you're reading the Emancipation Proclamation. So they'd make them small enough so you could stick it in your little dress shirt pocket, and you could kind of like just peek in there, and it would say, President goes to the sit room. President goes to the EEOB. President has a meeting in the Oval Office with congressional leaders. And the schedules were usually lengthy. I mean, some of them are 2 and 3 pages long. So I'm getting ready to put together a show. And Jim, am I right? Like 5 minutes before the show, the president's daily schedule comes over again. And for the whatever umpteenth day in a row, outside of a road trip he did, the president's schedule, well, Jim, I don't know, there's like an audio piece or something on the, apparently there's some kind of, I did not know this, Jim found it on the dark web. There's like, you remember like This Week in Baseball? There's apparently like a Today in the President's Schedule channel. Jim found it where they actually read the president's schedule. Folks, I'm going to warn you on our stations, don't tune out. This is quite lengthy. It's very detailed. It can even be a little boring at times. This may take a while and may run us into the commercial. But Jim found this channel on the dark web about the president's daily schedule where they read word for word the schedule. And this is what we had today.
Welcome to Today in Joe Biden, your extremely detailed up-to-the-minute rundown of the myriad things the president is doing today. Wednesday, March 27th. At 10 a.m., the president received the presidential daily brief. That's it. This has been Today in Joe Biden, your highly detailed briefing of the President of the United States.
Now, I bet you're like, God, you jokers over there, you and Jim. Okay, this is meant to be funny, but it's only funny because it's true. That's his actual. I'm not kidding. That's the schedule. Let me read to you the actual schedule. The president will receive the president's daily brief. The meeting will be closed press. That's it. What is this guy doing all day? He's the president of the United States. You can't go find something to do? When I was a kid, I had a job. I used to throw newspapers for Newsday. I found something to do. Sometimes I did it just on the weekends, and they would deliver, remember the comics, we call them like the funnies or something, and they would deliver them early, and I'd find a way to space out the work so it was done efficiently. I was a Newsday paper boy, and I found something to do. What is this guy doing all day? Now, journalist losers and D-bags out there, I worked in 2 White Houses, Democrat and Republican. This is not a partisan attack. I don't like Joe Biden. I am a conservative. Fair enough.
Fucking Richard.
I don't like Obama, but the guy had a busy schedule. If we started up at, whatever, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever it may be, it was earlier than that. Whatever time we started, Obama get out, and man, you wouldn't get back to the residence side till 6, 7 at night. He was, destroying the country takes a lot of work. He was busy. Now,
Bush was the exact same way. Bush, forget it. Bush was up so early that, the White House mess wouldn't start serving breakfast to a certain time. And you wanted to be always on the other. You wouldn't even get to eat. You'd grab your food and they'd be like, Trailblazers headed over to the Oval. You'd be like, damn, this guy's up early. I wasn't a huge Bush guy either. But they found something to do. Bro, you're the president of the United States. Folks, I'm going to start tracking this from now to the election. I got my team on it. Jim's got the website. Tony's on it. He's on it. Every day, this guy has a schedule with nothing more than the daily brief, which, by the way, they can do by iPad. They can hand him an iPad, meaning it's not even an actual brief, because he probably doesn't read it anyway. The president of the United States doesn't do anything. Now, you may be saying, Dan, don't complain. This is fair enough. Like, that's good news. Like, the more this guy does, he destroys. Fair enough. But, folks, this isn't directed at you, the conservatives out there. We have a lot of independents who listen. We know where we stand. We got it. To the persuadables out there who are still considering Joe Biden. Does that not bother you? That this guy never does anything? I just told you I worked in 2 White Houses. I spent years in both of them. I have never seen schedules like this during the week. What is he doing all day? UV light therapy? Wine tasting? Stamp collecting? Color by numbers? This guy works for a day or 2 on the road. He does nothing at the White House, and then he heads off to Delaware. And yes, we're conservative. The less this guy does, the better. Totally get it. But for the independents out there, a moderate Democrat, have you ever seen anything like this? You've got a potential explosion in Taiwan that could happen. You've got a war going on in Ukraine. He just sold out Israel, Biden. There's a big crisis in the Middle East. You've got an inflation crisis, a border crisis. You've got healthcare costs exploding. You've got rental costs exploding. You've got a productivity crisis. You've got lost years of schooling due to your COVID mess. And you can't find anything to do? What are you doing? Mom! I don't know what she's at. I don't know what she's doing back there. What is she? Somebody will get that. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. Alright, I've got a big show for you today. It's actually just coming on the air, getting ready for the podcast, and I looked at the schedule, and it only struck me because of the minis. We used to have to miniaturize the schedule to fit in the pocket because it was so long. This is the kind of presidential schedule. If you're a Secret Service agent, you don't even take the mini because it doesn't say anything. The president's not doing anything? Okay, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that. We had a joke for it. We would call it Ring Around the Oval, where we would, chase the president basically around the Oval Office hall. And he'd have meetings and, you bounce here, he walks across to the Brady press room maybe the EEOB, maybe he goes down the hallway to the VP's office, and we chase him around. Not Biden. I'm wondering, does Biden even leave the residence? Jim wants to know what the Secret Service does. Nothing. The greatest part about, I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm not going to tell you why, because I don't want to give up any of those secrets, obviously. But if the president doesn't leave the residence and go over to the West Wing side, that's like the greatest day of your life. It's for a lot of reasons. Let's just say it involves less work, like less actual work. This may be the greatest presidential protective division assignment ever. You never have to do anything. Guy doesn't even leave. What is he doing? You're like guarding his iPad for a briefing. The only downside is you got to be careful that you have to wear a cup to work because Biden's dogs bite you right in the neck. I mean, apparently this has happened quite often because Biden's such a deranged lunatic I always measure the dog by their owner. I don't really think there's that many bad dogs. There's typically a lot of bad owners. But this guy's got these dogs that keep taking chunks out of Secret Service agents. Says more about Biden than it does about the dog. All right, get back to everything. Folks, today is going to be an absolute evisceration of our modern media environment. And why? Not because it's funny. I mean, I'm enjoying the NBC meltdown a little bit. I know I shouldn't be. Over Ron McDaniel and the hiring and firing or whatever's going on over there, the dropping, who the hell knows. But I'm concerned. I am concerned. This is a serious topic. Don't ever fall in the left-wing trap of this my truth. There is no my truth. There isn't your truth and my truth. There's only the truth. That's it. Now, there's nothing wrong with the question still being left open to answer. You may not have the truth yet. Why am I talking about this now? I'm going to tie in for you today an attack on Andrew Huberman. These stories may seem unrelated. I promise you they're not. The Ron McDaniel mess at NBC. The bridge story from yesterday. And Joe Biden's growing what appears to be dementia or frontal lobe dementia. These are all related. We have morphed from a society that believes in finding fundamental truths to a society where there's your truth and my truth. And that is all because of the media. When you make the truth a subjective thing and not an objective thing, it is whatever you say it is. So I'll give you an example. There's mounds of science that facial surgical masks do not prevent viral respiratory infections. It doesn't matter. They'll just make it up and they'll say, well, you know what? We read the science this way and that's my truth. Well, that's not true. 3 + 2 = 5, not 7. And you can say it's 7 and that's your truth, but that doesn't make it true. And what's happened is trust in the media because of a litany of lies about COVID, the lab leak, wars overseas, biolabs in Ukraine, Spygate, Russia collusion, the Hunter laptop. Nobody trusts the media anymore. And therefore, when we ask questions, the media's automatic response to us asking questions of them is to label us conspiracy theorists, which only further alienates us from these media people and creates this chasm that now I believe is insurmountable. You saw it yesterday with the bridge story. I'll talk more about this coming up next. Don't fall in either one of these traps, because there's 2 traps being set for you at the same time. And I promise you, don't play it safe. Don't play it safe ever. Don't play it stupid. Because playing it stupid isn't safe. But don't play it safe either. You'll see what I mean coming up next. Father's Day and graduations are coming around the corner. If you're looking for a unique gift, you've got to check out the personalized receiver covers from Henry Repeating Arms. They can engrave any message up to 20 words, and the process is easy, affordable, and doesn't require a gunsmith. Just go to henryusa.com and type personalized in the search box, and you'll find step-by-step instructions. They're available for Henry's Golden Boy and Golden Boy Silver rifles, which come in 3 calibers, 22 LR, 22 Magnum, and 17 HMR. These guns are already head turners, and when you add the custom receiver cover, they become works of art that'll be cherished forever. Mine were accurate right out of the box and have been reliable ever since, and they're made in America and backed by a lifetime guarantee. So check out Henry Repeating Arms personalized receiver covers and make sure you order their free catalog. They'll mail it with free decals on a list of dealers in your area. That's henryusa.com for a free catalog and decals, henryusa.com. They make 200 models, and you're going to love these guns like I do.
You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show on the Bay Area's home for conservative talk on your radio and smart speaker at 560 KSFO.
You've worked hard all your life and fought for every penny, and now you're looking for a bigger, better retirement, right? You deserve